And we're going to invite Eric onto the show, and he's going to tell us about the bourbon we're drinking. So Eric is the founder of Bourbon Friday, and we got something special. What are we drinking today?
Something special. We have Buffalo Trace. Which, for some reason is a lot harder to come by than it used to be. Obviously, because it's related to
because it's good, right?
Yeah. but the reason I brought it on is because since we're talking about innovating storage. Mm-hmm. Once there's 3 times bourbon is stored. Really, it's in the bottle, the least interesting part of that storage process, the warehouse itself, and then the barrel, of course. So Buffalo Trace has done a few experiments here within the last 5 to 10 years, and one of these is called the Single Oak Project. So they went out to Ozarks of Missouri. They picked 96 white oak trees, and they selected these trees. They came back and they cut those in half, and each half got made into a barrel. So then they were able to control all of these different factors, for whether it's top and bottom, because there's a myth about which is better in the tree, controlling entry proof, stave seasoning, everything was sort of kept in these different controlled environments. So char level of the barrel. So every single one of these 192 barrels was then released out to select one actual bottling, and not this, obviously.
Oh, really?
But so they could actually learn from all of these different things. So the other thing that they've done is they've created what they call Warehouse X. And this is a small warehouse, and it was the first property they built in 60 years on the Buffalo Trace Distillery property. And they made, I believe it's a 4-chamber building where they could control humidity, light, temperature. They collected over 6 million data points.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason they did this is they're planning a $200 million expansion. And really, as far as rack houses, or as they're known mostly in Kentucky as rick houses.
Sure.
They basically, it's the same design from the 1800s. Nobody knows specifically what works and what doesn't.
Gotcha.
So if you like higher proof bourbon, there's specific spots in a warehouse that produce a higher proof bourbon than others. So there's all these different factors that they're trying to control for just in the storage of bourbon.
Interesting.
Super interesting. Yeah. You learn something new every day.
I know. Yeah. $200 million expansion. I guess you got to get your data right
goals.
For that. Right?
A couple things.
Yeah, we'll work our way up to that level, right?
It's actually amazing that there's bourbon, but wine storage is a huge industry. Making sure that certain wines are temperature controlled, and people really love their wine. So that's something that we would love to get into at some point.
Yeah, I did. I tried to find somebody that was actually leasing rack house space, but they didn't find any of that. I did find there's a new sort of experimental setup. I believe it's set up in Louisville, and they're using shipping containers so they can construct these rack houses really quickly. And not only that, they think that this might be better because, especially in the last few years, they've had a lot of disasters where Jim Beam lost 40,000 barrels or 45,000 barrels last year.
Really?
Yeah, because one of the barrel houses halfway collapsed.
Oh wow!
And not only that, this can be a big catastrophe for the area because if there's for the runoff, fish kills, all of that.
Sure.
Yeah. So they're trying this company, and I don't remember the name, is trying to innovate in that space as well. But I couldn't find if anybody was actually using them. But they're pretty new, within the last
working
year.
up to it. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Eric. If you ever find anybody who wants to store some barrels of bourbon somewhere, there's space in my house for some barrels of bourbon.
Yeah. Some of them might go missing.
Yeah, it's a specific. I'll take certain things that I store. That's one of the few.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, the angel share was really high. I don't know why.
There's a really drunk angel around here.
If you want to hear more bourbon stories, check out these videos. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. You can also find us on social. We are at Bourbon Fridays on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. See you next time.